Fast, efficient and affordable business-grade hosting solutions, domain registration, SSL certificates and more. We also monitor and provide website security and update services, website builds, email hosting amongst other sensational products. If you have a question about your web page or your presence on the internet in general, no job is too big or too small. Visit our website today, or better yet, contact us at blueoceanwebhosting.com.au and leave your website issues to us.
Big ones, little ones, fiddly ones, powerful ones, the ones for the car or the truck, caravan, boat, mobility scooter, solar system. In fact, for any kind of battery, go straight to Battery Central Ipswich. They'll even help you when you know what you need to power, but have no idea what'll do the job. Battery Central Ipswich, 280 Brisbane Street, West Ipswich, behind the Yellow Building. Expert advice, better batteries, best prices, every day. That's Battery Central Ipswich.
Welcome to episode 733 of Aussie Tech Heads. I'm Jason Oakley. This is Will Tompkinson. Howdy.
Hey, mate.
What's going on up there? Having fun or what?
No, not really.
No?
Not overly, no.
Aren't you in God Zone?
Not allowed to be anymore. Then his zone we're in is like lockdown zone.
Co-zone.
Co-zone. Is that like a cos zone?
Have you got the cozones?
I beg you not to ask that question.
Not after what happened last time.
No. You should know the answer after that.
My ears are still ringing.
So yeah, no, it's okay. I think winter's just about done.
Yeah. No, we're gonna hit a very cold snap over the next week. It's gonna go down to lower single digits again.
I don't know what's going on. It's just been all over the show. We've had rain, lots of rain, and it's been fairly warm. Had a couple of coolish nights, but nothing, not cold.
I was excited today. I'm sitting there doing my work, and then suddenly crash, bang, lightning, rain. I was like, yeah, oh crap, better go out there and get the garbage bins. Rain out there, grab them, pull them in, sat down again. It's gone. Where I wanted to have a lovely big storm.
Did you run outside naked? Was that what you scared it off, didn't you?
Usually works.
What, scaring people off?
Yes. Happens quite often. I'll have you know.
Yeah, more often than one would think. Oh dear. Yeah, no, it's we've had probably every second day we've had rain here for a while. It's kind of weird. Yep. And it hasn't been that cold, so the grass is still going nuts. And you're supposed to get a reprieve in winter. You're supposed to mow it like once every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
That's how I've been. Yep.
Still mowing every week.
Oh, geez, I haven't had the gardener here for like 4 weeks now.
Still hedging every second week. Still brush cutting every second week.
Jeez,
I just put out 20 litres of Roundup last weekend. So
you must have been pretty thirsty.
Yeah, don't do that.
Wasn't there a guy on American TV who's like, this Roundup is so safe you could even drink it. They're like, okay, here's the glass, we just poured it.
Yeah. He's like,
it's all right.
He's like, no, I'm not that stupid. I wouldn't drink it.
It's all right. I'm not thirsty. It's fine. You can drink it, but I'm not.
No, he actually goes, don't be stupid. I'm not drinking that.
Did he?
I'm not that stupid to do that.
I just say other people.
They're like, didn't you just say you could drink it?
Should drink it.
He's like, no, you can. It doesn't mean you. He's like, you can drink it. It doesn't mean I'm going to.
You can drink anything once.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
I've been having fun with still doing my mining because the price of Bitcoin's dropped down so far. The payouts are getting more Bitcoinage of a lower value, but that just means that when it comes back up again, you've doubled.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Plus, I started looking into something. Binance is one of the platforms I use, and they've got an investment thing where you can, a financial savings investment where you can take your Bitcoin, and there's a locked account, kind of like a long-term deposit thing, but it only goes for 90 days maximum. So you can lock away a minimum of 0.01 Bitcoin and earn interest on it in Bitcoin.
Okay.
And then when that pays out, you reinvest that and compounded.
Hmm.
And then they've also got, if you've only got a little bit of Bitcoin, they've got flexible savings where you get a lower interest rate, but you only lock it in for 14 days at a time. If you haven't got much to invest, but you still earn, I think it's like 0.8% or something in the smaller one, but the bigger one is something like 8 or 9%, which is not nothing.
No.
And if it's like, well, you can have your Bitcoin and just hope that the price goes up, or you can invest it and get more Bitcoin, and then when the price goes up, you do even better.
I wonder what they're investing it against. Because you have to earn interest on something, there has to be something that grows. So whether they're physically investing against something in the real world, against property or something, which is why there's a 90-day minimum, because they've got to actually do that physical transactioning. I don't know.
Yep.
But you need to have something to invest. You can't just invest something against nothing.
But here's the tricky thing. I got an email from them saying about investing stuff. So I thought, I'll have a look into it one day. It was like 6 weeks ago. And then last week I thought, okay, I'll actually have a look and read up. And there's a lot of different options, different things you can do. You can lock your coin away for investment. And when new altcoins are added onto their system, you earn those altcoins for having locked away your Bitcoin for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So you can do that kind of thing. And they've got like half a dozen different ways of investing. And then I thought, okay, I'll try this one. So you read the video and it's like, okay, go to your account and then go to the savings section, then financial and investment. And there's no link in your account. They've got screenshots and video. Click here, click there, click there. You can't, because it doesn't exist. I don't know if it's just my account or if it's the Australian account or whatever. But I had Googled, and eventually found a link to what they were supposed to have a link in your account. So I bookmarked that, and every time I get Bitcoin payout from NiceHash, I send it over to Binance and then invest that in the short term. I've got 0.01 Bitcoin in for locked for the higher interest, and every time I withdraw $100, once my NiceHash gets to $100 worth of coin, I send that to Bitcoin and put that in the lower interest short term until I've accumulated enough to then put it into the bigger one for more interest. So make it work for it. Yeah.
Sounds too much like real world banking to me.
Yes.
I don't understand that. So
but I don't get any interest as coins. I got a mortgage, so any interest I would get would be eaten away straight away.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I got a story to talk about that soon as well. And that will be quite interesting. We're going to have some big changes with our IT systems.
I think that's. Oh, look. Yeah, I got a couple of stories about that as well, and it's the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. One week you'll have a story about how we're shutting down all access to this, and the next week, hey, we've decided we're going to use this to open that up. And it's like, didn't you just say you're closing that? And it's like, seriously?
Everyone's banning this except for these ones actually like it, so they're not going to ban that.
Yeah. And then they're actually not going to, not only they're not going to ban it, they're actually going to promote it. It's like, huh. So, but yeah, no, it's all been fun and games the last week. So, but hopefully we're moving into our new shop. We've finally got a confirmation saying it's available, because it's been available for like 2 months.
Yeah, boy. So the other guys moved out ages ago.
Yeah. And anyway, I've got an email the other day saying, "Oh, that store's available now." I'm like, it was available 2 months ago. Don't tell me it's available now. I'm still waiting for you to tell me whether or not we can move in. So that'll be interesting.
It's going to be like over a weekend or a few weekends thing, moving bits and pieces?
I think there's a month layover with our leases.
Yep.
So it'll just have a month to swap. It's literally 30 meters away, so it's not like it's hard.
All of Will's mates come in for a slab, and you can help move over the weekends. Get paid in the slab of 4x.
I don't know who's buying the slab, but it ain't me.
Slab of 4x.
I'll give him a
quality stuff.
That's better than VB.
Well, it's all like having sex in a canoe, isn't it?
It's the thought that counts, right?
Geez, you must not think very much of your mates. If that's the kind of thing you're thinking about.
What, having sex in a canoe? Oh, dear.
We started at the low.
There's only one way to go, and that's down. You can't go up.
No.
The gutter doesn't go up.
I guess before we start, we should talk about the things that go across here, get them out of the way.
The Patreon, Ko-fi, PayPal, all those things you can sign up to and
You people rock.
and help us out with that stuff. That's great. Of course, you catch us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all the other social media places as well if you want to catch up. We're a bit slack on most of it, but it's hard.
We're very slack on Twitch lately.
Yeah, well, it's hard when you working flat out, and this is sort of the. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to say this show gets priority, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I'd love it to. I'd love to spend more. I'd love to spend a few hours a week prepping and getting it ready and
doing more shows,
doing some more media side of it and stuff. And yeah, there's a million ideas for shows, just none of which we can seem to have time to get any of it rolling. But that might all change.
Much feedback from Aussie Tech Roundup, did we?
No, it's still something I want to do though. It's just that's time.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a Patreon show. I did actually put a couple of episodes on the website. The first two we did. They're now, because they've been up for a while, they're back to public on the website. They've had a few views, but it's one of those things. It's all time. Time is the issue.
Got it.
And don't forget too, of course, we've got Blue Ocean Web Hosting, which is what Aussie Tech Heads web hosting and all that other stuff is merging into. Soon will be all Blue Ocean. So you can go there and check it out. Also too, don't forget, if you are thinking about starting a website domain, you can kill two birds with one stone. If you do a Patreon mid-tier level, you get a free website with that. So you can help support the show and get a free website thrown into that as well.
Bonus.
So yeah, and
then we'll throw in a set of snake knives. Snake knives.
Snake knives.
I don't think it's got a snake on the blade.
That's snake eyes.
Snake eyes.
2 ones. And of course, Battery Central Ipswich as well is my store, and I have had a couple of calls from a couple of listeners over last week to help them out with problems. One was an off-grid solar setup, and one was for a yacht. Yeah,
Excuse me.
A yacht. I was trying to think what his name was in Monty Python.
Raymond Luxury Yacht.
Yeah, that's it.
No, it's written Raymond Luxury Yacht, but it's pronounced Threat Wobbler Mangrove.
Yeah, that's it. But so I helped them out and got some batteries sent out to them, so that was good.
Now, how many Tesla Powerwalls do I need to go off grid?
All of them.
All of them. You get it. You can stack like 6 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not. They will work in that capacity, but they're not really the best way of doing it.
Yep.
It's a very expensive way of doing a simple thing. So,
do you have a quick 2-second? What would be a way to go off grid? Because I hear a lot of people talking about they'd like to, but I think it's difficult.
It's very individual, because it really comes down to how much power you use. And if you're somebody who likes using aircons and heaters and stuff like that, that's hydro or electrical, it makes it very difficult. Then you've got to incorporate generators and whatnot. So the price of going off grid is directly proportional to how much power you want to use. If you're happy to have, a fridge, a freezer, a TV, a washing machine, and a computer, your system's relatively small. If you want to add an aircon and you want a dishwasher and you want a dryer and you want all this stuff, well, suddenly you've just made the system 10 times larger. Then if you've got a workshop where you want to run welders and air compressors, and you realistically should be running all those generators. So yeah, a small granny flat weekend cabin sort of deal where you're running a fridge and a TV and charging phones and running a couple of lights,
Yep.
you're looking at $1,000.
Yep.
And that'll do that. Then to run a house full time for an older couple who don't use much, you might be looking at $6 or $7 grand, up to 10, say, and then it gets exponentially dearer very quickly from that point on.
And if you've got an ASIC in the garage, very expensive.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it sucks down 1,300 watts
That's
all
it.
day long.
1,300 watts. Yeah, exactly. It's
Where all my solar go? My battery's not filling up for some reason.
Probably you wouldn't have a cloudy weather too, which wouldn't be helping.
Yes, all constant at the moment.
Yeah.
Although we did get a little bit of sun this morning, and all the bees came out and had a look around, so that was cool.
And don't forget, in winter too, your azimuth is off on the panel, so you're not getting as much efficiency out of your solar system as you are in summer because the sun's so low on the horizon as well. So you might get 8 hours of sun, but you're really only getting 5 hours of usable sun.
Yeah.
And even that's only half the peak it would be in summer. So, that's why I've got a massive system that's, in actual fact, all of the system doesn't get used in summer. It's actually too much system for the inverter to handle. So there's actually one of the strings doesn't even get powered up in summer. Yep. But in winter, that string becomes active and it offsets the difference. So I generate the same amount of power in summer as I do in winter, because I over-generate in summer and I don't generate all the power I can in summer.
Yep.
So.
Do you get about 9 cents or something?
Not sure at the moment. I was on 18. But that contract's finished.
I was on 20 a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I was on 18, but that contract finished. I'm with Amber now, and I haven't got a bill since I've been with them, so I've got to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I haven't paid a bill either, so I don't know if I want to go and check what's going on there.
What me worry?
You haven't paid us for 3 months.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. You haven't paid me. I haven't paid you at all.
Just call us. Start again. We'll just clean slate.
Should we do some news?
Okay.
Now, what I was speaking about before, Australia's banks have been directed to prepare their IT systems to deal with the prospect of zero or negative interest rates by the end of April next year. The Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, APRA, said today that it had written to banks in December last year regarding the issue of potential timeframes for rectification or mitigation, while noting Reserve Bank of Australia advised that a negative cash rate is highly unlikely in Australia. APRA noted this does not preclude the possibility of negative cash rates in the future, nor did it preclude preparing for that potential eventuality. APRA said the initial feedback from authorised deposit-taking institutions, aka banks, was that they are typically well placed to deal with zero and negative market interest rates on financial market products, such as those typically managed in the Treasury system. However, for some ADIs, zero and negative rates on other products, for example, wholesale, retail lending and deposit products, would pose operational challenges. Furthermore, a number of ADIs noted high costs and competing priorities as being constraints for the implementation of permanent solutions. APRA said that a lack of preparedness could be material for banks if zero or negative rates came into play and the bank's technology systems were insufficient. APRA expects ADIs to, at minimum, develop tactical solutions to implement zero and negative market interest rates and cash rates by April 30, 2022. Tactical solutions are typically shorter-term fixes involving workarounds on the periphery of existing systems along with overrides in downstream systems.
There are a lot of banks that can't handle it, and they've come out and said it, and that's why they've basically kept the pressure on the central bank to not.
Yeah, I think there are other countries that have got negative rates already, haven't they?
There are some, yeah. There's when they set the. It's not something that's really ever happened here, so they've just sort of never set up for it when they designed their software.
Don't worry about it.
But that's got a follow-on effect too. Like, our banking software, or our zero software, that we use for our point of sale and accounting, it's not set up for that either. It wouldn't know how to handle it, which is easy enough because it would just be an update would solve that problem. But it is something you got to think about. It is an across the board sort of problem. It's not a one
Y2K22.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, that was a scam, but yeah, when you're calculating 0 minus percent rates, it doesn't take much for things to go pear-shaped.
You owe Australian banks $1 trillion because our computer couldn't handle the numbers.
Pretty much. Speaking of governments, government backs blockchain with a $5.6 million in funding towards supply chain solutions. Everledger and Convergence Tech have given funding to explore 2 pilots centered on supply chain solutions and helping to ease regulatory burdens. The funding was awarded through the Blockchain Pilot Grant Program, which aimed to investigate the capability of blockchain to enhance the productivity and competitiveness of Australia's critical mineral and food and beverage sector. Basically they're saying that the blockchain pilot grants will demonstrate the potential for blockchain to help businesses to save money and cut red tape by improving processes such as tracking products throughout the supply chain and transferring customer information. These 2 successful projects will highlight opportunities to improve technical and regulatory environment for blockchain in Australia, bolster blockchain literacy, and support collaboration between Australian governments, the private sector, and blockchain companies. So what's really interesting is blockchains. Okay, yeah, they've been a thing for a number of years, but realistically, we've only ever heard them in terms of crypto. But now it's crossing those boundaries into not so much the blockchain itself, but it's crossing the use case of that blockchain into the physical realm. Yeah. So now when you track, so for example, at the moment, you buy a product off me, you buy that product with my part number. I buy that product from my supplier with a different part number. That supplier buys it from the importer with a different part number. The importer buys it from the wholesaler in a different country with a different part number, and they buy it from the manufacturer with a different part number. Yep. So this one component's gone through 8 part number revisions in its lifetime. And you can't, unless you know the chain of command and you know where every component's bought from, you really can't trace that product. With this blockchain thing, even though the part number may change, it's like the crypto itself might change wallets, but the actual currency can be tracked back to its original destination. It's the same thing with the product. The product may change form, or may change part numbers, or may change hands and suppliers, but you'll be able to pick up its original point of origin. Especially when you're dealing with government versus private sector transitions and transactions, and stuff gets lost in translation there all the time. So this would be a really good way to streamline that.
Yeah.
It's interesting how something that only really ever had a place in the virtual realm and was very, very limited use case traditionally is actually showing a legitimate real world scenario.
Yeah.
It legitimizes all what's crypto? Why is it worth anything anyway? Sort of argument, because if the blockchain can work in the real world, well, the crypto can work in the real world.
Yeah, so related.
So,
the social network known as the front page of the internet, i.e. Reddit, is moving to Australia. I don't know if they're moving. I think they're opening an office here, but that's the way the headline goes. Clickbait. Reddit will officially open a Sydney office on Monday, the multi-billion-dollar company's first presence in the Southern Hemisphere and just its third outside of the United States, in a bid to grow its Australian audience and challenge Facebook and Twitter. The local arm of the world's most famous bulletin board will be spearheaded by former Woolworths Twitter and Amazon executive David Ray. Reddit Chief Operating Officer Jen Wong said the company chose Australia as its latest target after the local audience grew by more than 40% over the past year to become the network's fourth largest worldwide. We've been fortunate to experience strong organic growth from our Australian user base in recent years, and with this comes significant opportunity to level up our local offering in a more focused and nuanced way, she said. From building out our highly engaged Australian communities to finding homes for local brands on the platform, this launch is just the beginning of our investment in the market and key to our wider internal vision as we continue to scale Reddit at pace. Ms. Wong said the company would employ Australians in sales, engineer, and community roles and would actively recruit experts, influencers, and interest groups to set up a presence on Reddit. The new team has local contacts and they know how to access communities online. We'll be marketing to people who are creators and who are interested in starting and moderating communities on Reddit. Reddit has been around for 16 years, and if you think about it, some of those big communities on Reddit have become incredibly influential. I was a big fan of Dig.
Yeah, Dig
and
was
then
cool.
Dig dug itself a hole and jumped into it and buried itself, and then I was like, well, where do I go now?
What's that?
Oh, everyone's gone to Reddit. I guess I'll check out that Reddit thing.
What's his name? Adam something? I can't think of his name.
Adamant.
Adam someone used to was Dig. It's yeah, I mean, you know,
Kevin Rose.
Kevin. Well, I was that's right, the other guy, because there was Kevin and Adam. I think the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were two big venture capitalists too.
Their podcast actually used to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dig Nation, I think it
I
was.
used to listen to that, yeah. Hey.
But that seems like forever ago. Actually, what was that? When was that? That was
I used to listen to the Twit Network back in the day.
for 13, 14, 15 years ago. That's how long ago that was. Because I've been with Battery Central for 11, and it was a good couple of years
Yeah, no,
before
Grandpa.
that. So, yeah, it'd have to be 15 years. Wow, really? That's how long ago it was. Oh, man. That's depressing. That means that's about how long I've been on this show for.
Wow.
Because I was still working. Yeah, I was still working with Chester then. So I've had a couple of jobs before this one. So yeah, 15 plus years I've been doing this. I still don't know what I'm doing.
No. Just follow the script.
That's what I keep forgetting to bring up's the script.
The highly organized script, right?
So you're talking about the ex-CEO of Woolworths. Well, the current CEO of Woolworths has said that they're going to improve their revenue structure. They're going to build a new fulfillment centre to service their e-commerce direct-to-door sales.
Yeah, take on Amazon.
Woolworths has lodged development plans with Southern Shire Council to build a new online customer fulfillment centre in Caringbah, New South Wales, to help with online grocery orders. The supermarket giant envisions a new 7,200 square metre complex can fill an extra 15,000 home deliveries and direct-to-door boot each week for customers based in the Southern Shire, spanning from Kurnell to Engadine. I don't know.
Engadine. I used to live there.
Oh, there you go. Both the facility will have wider aisles and more shelf space than supermarkets to allow personal shoppers to handpick from around 20,000 products quickly, accurately, and efficiently. Woolworths e-commerce director Annette Karen Tony, there you go, said the CFC will also be company first to offer dedicated pickup bays with direct-to-boot service for customers who prefer to pick up their online orders themselves. So that'll be interesting. And they've got
if anyone's heard of Engadine, mostly it's got its infamy at the moment because there's been a rumor going around that Scott Morrison pooped his pants there in about 1984 or something in a McDonald's. So that's gone all over the internet. And there's this great big thing about whether or not he actually did.
Wouldn't surprise me. Sounds like something he'd do.
Yeah.
So this comes as Woolworths reports online sales grew 92% from July to December. They haven't released this half yet, but I can only imagine it's gone up even more. So they'll add to their added 3 during last half of the year, they added 3 new centres in Notting Hill, Lidcombe, and Carrum Downs. They're also announcing the first automated fulfillment centre to speed up even further in Sydney.
I wonder if they're just going to do fulfillment for Woolly stuff or other businesses as well.
I
You've
would.
got a network, you might as well.
I mean, I
cover
would
others.
imagine it would be the
Wonder-
Woolworths. Everything under the Woolworths banner. I can't imagine it being just.
WS and all that.
Yeah. I can't imagine it being just Woolworths because it's kind of. I mean, maybe.
Woolworths, Big W, Big WS.
BWS, Beer One Spirits. Yeah, I would imagine it would be all those. They don't specifically, but then again, they don't specifically say it's Woolworths either. They say, they use Woolworths as in the corporation of Woolworths, but not necessarily specifically just the shop. So
It's funny talking to people on the internet about Woolworths, and it's not the same company that was in the UK and the US.
no,
They're like, you still got a Woolworths there? Yes, but it's not that. They just picked the same name because it was popular, and it's a completely different country, company, nothing.
it's
related.
funny. You go to Victoria and it's called Safeway.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought. Well, somebody told me that when I was in high school. I was like, you're just making stuff up. That's not real. Safeway? What the hell's a Safeway?
I need to go back and double check. I'm not going to do it at the moment, but I believe it was actually called Safeway first, and Woolworths was more popular, as you said, more popular overseas. So they changed it, but for whatever reason, it stayed Safeway in Victoria.
Yep.
I'm not sure why. It's like you can go when you go to Melbourne, you can go to Hungry Jack's and go to Burger King, and they're next to each other.
Yeah.
Or what at least they used to be when I was down there. You'd walk out of the door of Hungry Jack's and you'd walk next door and it was Burger King.
Safeway was a chain of supermarkets in Australia from 1963 to 2017. The supermarkets were initially part of Safeway Incorporated, but were absorbed by Woolworths Limited, now Woolworths Group, in 1985. In 2008, Woolworths Limited announced it would discontinue the Safeway name, and the former Safeway stores were rebranded to Woolworths or closed. The final Safeway store to be rebranded was Wodonga on the 6th of June 2017.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's an American company, Safeway Incorporated.
Huh. It has been a while since I've been down to Victoria, but last time I was down there, they were still Safeway.
Not allowed there anymore.
Yeah. Interesting.
And we won't let anybody into our state either. And
Yeah, well, that's a whole other load of crap that I don't want to talk about. Because that's not for this show, that's for another show that I'm trying to get up and running.
yeah,
So that way I don't care. They don't care if nobody listens. At least I can say what I want and don't get in trouble. Stop with the
wait, you
emails.
got to
I know.
save your rants for this show. There's got to be at least one rant.
They're an entirely different sort of rants, though. They're the rants people don't want to hear, and they go crook at me. So
Then you get Facebook jailed
again.
again.
But it wasn't the dumb part about it this time was it wasn't even anything wrong that I
It's a
posted.
meme.
It was a meme. It wasn't like the amount of stuff that I've posted that could have got me banned in the last 3-4 weeks. This was literally a funny little cartoon that was just designed for shits and giggles, and they banned me for 4 days.
Do you know what I got notification for today on Facebook? A video I uploaded 3 years ago of the dog running up and down the backyard when we had a dog, and there was music from the radio 3 rooms away. You could hear faintly in the background, and they said this had a copyright strike against it. And it's not ever going to show in. Here's a list of all the countries it's not going to show in. So you can scroll through and see where they will not show your video. And you can either leave it to not show or just delete it. So I just went, delete the stupid thing. I don't care. It was just a stupid video. The dog running back.
Yeah.
Wouldn't happen to have faint music in the background. No, you can't have that. That's copyright music.
It's so ridiculous.
But it took them 3 years.
And yet when you post stuff that's complete and utter garbage and completely factually wrong, they don't say anything about it.
No. And you just post a cartoon and get banned in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I posted a few weeks ago I did a test. I'm like, screw it. They gave me a warning for something else I posted that was, again, correct. And then I went, screw it. I posted it for about a week in a row.
Yep.
Everything I posted, well, not everything, most things I posted were factually, blatantly incorrect.
Yep.
Not one of them
They
got
were all
fact checked. The second I start putting legitimate things back up again, they all get fact check warnings on them, and I get blocked again. It's like so. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? So
Go to Reddit. It's competing and it's coming to Australia.
No, I use Minds.
Yeah.
I spend most of my time on Minds. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook anyway because it annoys me. But yeah, it's just, I was just like, seriously.
We'd all leave if we could, Mr. T.
Yeah, honestly, and this is the thing that kind of, this is a mini rant. The thing that kind of bugs me, like, everyone calls me conspiracy theorist or this, that, the other, but you can go back through my last 18 months of posts and literally everything I've posted, predicted, and said was going to happen has. I'm not, like, what do I gain from spreading conspiracies? Like, nothing. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help anybody else. What I share is factual, verifiable, and repeatable information that anybody with half a brain can go and look it up. The problem is people don't. They're so brain dead and they're so used to the media spoon feeding them that this information doesn't correlate to what they've been told. Therefore, it's automatically wrong. Despite the fact that every time the media and the government open their mouth, they say something different. You know, it just,
they contradict themselves.
If you don't want to believe me because you've done your own research and you've come to the conclusion that I'm wrong, fine. But don't just tell me I'm a conspiracy theory and get back in my hole when you have no concept of how the world functions outside of your own living room. Yeah. You know, like, I'm all for you know, having a intelligent conversation with somebody where education can be learnt by both parties, but and then the thing is, when I spoon feed people information, they go, "Oh, show me all your sources." It's like, I've literally just spent half an hour writing a reply to you. I'm not citing every street source I've just used. Surely, if you type in the things I've got in quotes into Google, you might find some information on it. You know, like,
yeah, it's not that hard.
The world, we have access to more information than we've ever had. And we have less people with the ability to pass that information because nobody can think for himself.
Yeah.
So the world is now dumber than it ever has been, and we have more information for it. And it seems the people with the more PhDs and doctorates you've got after your name, the worse the offenders.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't get shadow banned.
No, that's right. Well, not the ones who are on the government payroll anyway. But yeah, it's just not specifically Facebook in general, just things in general. When I say something, I say it because that's how it is. I'm not saying it because that's how I want it to be, or it's how it should be, or it's how I think it is, or it's how you think it is. That's how it is. I looked into it. There's 7 different variations on what it could be. I've dug through all of those 7 to find the one that it is actually correct. You know? So, it's whatever. Anyway, enough of that.
Researchers have shown that it's possible to spoof and get through Windows Hello facial recognition system used for passwordless logins on personal computers. Windows Hello uses infrared and red, green, blue RGB cameras to scan users' faces and match the data obtained against a password hash for authentication. By using a single captured infrared frame and a cloned USB device, researchers at security vendor CyberArk were then able to spoof a user's visage and gain access to a PC running Windows Hello for Business for logins. CyberArk believes it's possible to create infrared frames through regular color images as well through automated filters and machine learning algorithms. Our research yielded an interesting attack vector. Capture a victim's image, save the captured frames, impersonate a USB camera device, and eventually send those frames to the system for verification. At the heart of this vulnerability lies the fact that Windows Hello allows external data sources which can be manipulated as a root of trust, researchers said in their analysis of the flaw. Microsoft issued a patch for the flaw today, applicable to support a version of Windows 10 32-bit and 64-bit and for ARM64-based systems. To mitigate against attacks that could bypass biometric user authentication, Microsoft suggests you use enhanced sign-in security. CyberArk researchers say enhanced sign-in security does mitigate against attacks, but it requires specialized cameras, firmware, and hardware drivers to work. I was using Face Unlock with my phone for a while. It sort of worked most of the time, I think, but I think
Yeah.
it's not. I don't think of it as secure,
No.
so I just went back with the fingerprint unlock, and that
So
seems to be.
I don't even find the fingerprint one works that well. If you've got somebody, especially somebody who's in a dusty or dirty, greasy environment, you can walk up to their fingerprint scanner and press it because their fingerprints literally built up on the back of the scanner. It just triggers it even with their fingerprint.
For me, I've been doing a lot of gardening lately, and I get a message. I'm like, I've got a bit of dirt on there.
That's right.
Unlock. Try pressing harder. I'm going to push you right through the other side. Okay, slide up. Let me do my little picture. There we go. I unlocked it.
See, my fingerprint scanner is actually on the back. I've got
That was good. I had a phone that had on the back.
I got-
That's a great idea.
4 cameras there, and then the one below it. So there's a bit hard to see, but there's 4 cameras up, 2 in the top silver bit, 2 below that, and then that bit there is actually my fingerprint scanner, but I don't use it.
And how easy is it while you're holding your the phone in your hand like that, your fingers near there, you can just...
Well, especially if you use that as your finger. You can choose any finger you want. If you use your index finger, it's right. I hold my phone there anyway.
Yeah.
So it's...
That's what I liked about it, but no, they've got to put it in the screen now for some dumb reason.
What's funny, it's if you touch the fingerprint scanner, like even though it's turned off, it still turns my screen on.
All right. Just doesn't unlock it.
See the infrared? It's
yeah,
picking up the infrared sender. But I was trying to figure out for a while why when I'd be holding my phone and I'd be holding it like that and I'd just hold it in my hand, the screen would come on. I'm like, why is it doing that? And then I realised it's because I'm holding the fingerprint scanner at the back. So that one had me stumped for a while. Why every time I pick it up and put it down, the screen turns on? So, but yeah, no, I don't. I just use the pin. But the irony is even the pattern. It's kind of irrelevant because if you've got a dirty screen like I have, you can just look at the screen. You can see where the pattern is as clear as day anyway. Yeah. So it doesn't really do. It's more of the only reason I have it is to stop it bum dialing when it's in my pocket.
Yeah, like, mine does anyway, so I give up.
Yeah, well, there is
even when I was doing the gardening last week, I even recently turned on. I saw that I didn't have turned on
pocket mode,
auto accidental touch detection.
Yeah.
So I turned that on. And now I unlock it and I start doing something. It goes, whoops, accidental touch detection. Please click here to unlock. I'm like, I'm using it. I just unlocked it. It's not accidental if I've already unlocked it. I'm doing something. I'm watching apps and do. So I turn the phone off, put it in my pocket. I'm working away in the garden, and then I hear faintly in the background, beep, 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 beep. I'm like, what the hell? Pick it up, and it's got a 20-digit number it's trying to type in to dial. So first it has to slide from where the phone icon is on the login screen. It has to detect something slid that up to activate the keypad and then start typing keypad stuff with my leg where the phone is in a pocket. So it's got phone, jeans, leg, and through the jeans it detects finger presses, which shouldn't be. My leg doesn't have like warts sticking out that it could mistake for a thumb or something. It's a whole leg.
Going through fabric as well.
Leg, you would think if it could detect there's 6 different numbers being pressed at once. Maybe this isn't a finger. I don't know about you, but people don't usually dial numbers with every finger on their hand at the same time.
Unless you're drunk.
So. Well,
you turned on in drunk mode, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beep, beep, beep. Your fingers are too fat to press the numbers. Please smash the keyboard to.
The thing about mine is mine's got the torch on the home screen, so you can just. I often have the torch going off in my pocket. That's kind of annoying, but it's good that it's there because it's handy. But that's the biggest thing is that just triggers that sometimes now.
Yep.
So, what were we talking about? I don't know.
Fish.
fish.
Today's fish is trout, olive cream. Enjoy your meal.
So speaking of crypto that we were before, thousands of PS4s seized in Ukraine in illegal crypto mining sting. Ukraine Security Service said last week the city of Vinyetta. It's Vinyetta with an S in it. It's like a cross between Vinyetta and Asia. Vinyetta. Located along the southern...
It's Venezia, comrade.
along the southern Bug River. Ew. There was an abandoned warehouse and its industrial area that once belonged to an electricity company. Here we go. JSC Venezio Blengario. Perfect. Exactly nailed it. That's exactly how it's
easy
said.
for you to say.
Upon entry, law enforcement found it's been called what it's called the country's largest underground cryptocurrency farm. In total, roughly 3,800 gaming consoles were rigged together and stored on metal racks, and over 500 graphics cards and 50 processors were also found. The hardware was allegedly used to facilitate cryptocurrency mining, while those apparently responsible stole the electricity required from the city. Current estimates suggest the electricity stolen amounts from between 186 to 259,000 per month. Raids took place in the crypto farm, and Ukrainian police also say searches took place at the offender's residence where draft notes on electricity usage, notebooks, handsets, and USB storage drives were also seized. In a statement, they said our company, this is a Google translated statement, mind you, our company has nothing to do with the illegal activity, and cryptocurrency mining equipment has never operated in the premises owned by our company. The utility company also added that there was no evidence of theft of electricity. The investigation was concluded by Ukraine law enforcement agencies under supervision of the Governor General's office. In a separate but notable cryptocurrency farm plot, back in 2019, Chinese law enforcement uncovered cables hidden in a fish pond that were used to connect an oil rig's electrical grid. Active Bitcoin rigs were found hidden in the shed after drones deployed to track down the perpetrator. So, I just want, like, are they going to release these things? You know, are they going to, like...
Stick them on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, all those PS4s just sitting there. Hopefully they'll... We need... And there's 500 graphics cards there as well. Just put them on eBay. They'll be fine. You'll
Mr. Teal, buy one. Please put it there.
You'll get your money back for your electricity in no time.
A struggling Sydney restaurant owner on the brink of closing his business due to COVID-19 has won a record $1.7 million in the lottery office's USA Power Lotto. The lottery office allows Australians to buy tickets in global lotteries, including in the US, because it purchases a matching ticket for customers in overseas draws. The 50-year-old man was also one number short of claiming the Division 1 prize of $170 million. However, the win was boosted by the man accidentally selecting a multiplier game for an extra $3.45, which doubled his Division 2 base prize of only $828,000.
Does that mean it would have doubled the Division 1 as well?
Probably.
That would have been, what, 350 mil US? Wow.
His total prize, $1.656 million, is Australia's largest payout from an online-only lottery provider. The man was notified of the win through a push notification on the Lottery Office app, which he had only downloaded and started to use in December. Lucky bastard.
Reckon.
The Lottery Office Chief Executive, Jacqueline Wood, said the man from Oatlands in Sydney's northwest was in tears. You should be happy. What's wrong with you? These people. The player said the recent lockdowns had been a massive blow to his hospitality business, and he had suffered numerous sleepless nights figuring out how he could continue to support his family and staff. He emailed us straight after the app notified him of the win. He knew he had won a big prize, but he wasn't ready to believe it. When I called him this morning, he was in tears from the moment I confirmed how much he had won. The man said COVID-19 had crippled his business and he was about to close down. I have been in business for almost 30 years, but due to the devastating impact of COVID-19, I was about to go under, he said. I feel like this win is an absolute miracle that has saved my life, and I won't let this opportunity go to waste. I'll put this money towards paying off debts and saving my business. Ms. Wood said the $183 million Division 1 prize in the US lottery had rolled over into this week, given no one had won it. Our lotteries provided Aussies with some of the world's greatest jackpots, and no one taking the first Division 1 prize. USA Power Lotto is jackpotted once again to a massive 183 million for this Thursday's draw. If the customer wins, we pay them the exact amount of the winnings we collect from the overseas lottery ticket. What was that website, Mr.
I was going to say, what was the name of that website you're talking?
USA Power Lotto. Go there.
All right, show's over. See you next week. Bye.
Give them all your Bitcoin. How many Bitcoin will they take for a ticket?
Will I take Bitcoin?
Nobody takes Bitcoin for lottery
They might.
tickets. I hope they do, says Mrs.
There you go. Lotteryoffice.com.au.
There we go.
USA Power Lotto. Yeah, lotteryoffice.com.au. All lottos. You can do lottos, you can do syndicates. There's
All the lottos.
holy
A lotto for
dooly.
you, and a lotto for you, and a lotto for you.
There's Irish Lotto, European Millions, UK Lotto, European Jackpot, La Primitiva, Italian Super Jackpot, US Mega Lotto, USA Power Lotto. Wow, okay.
All the lottos.
Could be here for a while. Can I just have $10 on everything?
Yep.
No, not $10 each, just $10. I've got $10. I just want everything for $10.
Not $10 each way.
No. So a couple of quick stories. Amazon rolls out encryption for Ring doorbells. Privacy advocates have been asking for Amazon to encrypt the popular Ring doorbell audio and video traffic, and Amazon is finally doing it. Which has probably something to do with the 4 million videos on YouTube for the Ring doorbell, because it's not encrypted. Before using E2W, you should know AWS hasn't yet integrated fully into the Ring's feature set. There are many features such as sharing your videos, being able to view encrypted videos, etc. Using the desktop app or the Mac desktop app or the Rapid Ring app and the event timeline that you won't be able to use. Doesn't work on won't run on the Ring's most popular, least expensive battery-powered Ring doorbells, which is like 90% of them. So, you know. But apparently there's a... if you go through the thing, there's a third-party one you can install, apparently.
Oh, okay.
What's it say? You can install... it's a whole lot of acronyms. PKIRSA 2048 bit E2EE something. So yeah, if you got a Ring doorbell, do the firmware update. It may or may not be encrypted. Quickly to Google is consolidating some of its services. It's replacing its two file syncing desktop apps, which was Drive and Backup and Sync and Drive, I think they were. It's incorporating them into a single one called Drive for Desktop. Be used by all users. It's currently replacing Backup and Sync and Drive file stream. Unfortunately, the apps are only available for Windows and Mac, not for Linux or Android, which is weird. But apparently it'll work through the Drive app on the existing Drive app on Android. So I don't know if they're trying to... It kind of makes sense. I mean, because you got to think, they got rid of Picasa for the same reason. Because you had like Google Drive and your phone was backing up to Picasa and Google Drive. And so you're having all those multiple copies of stuff going everywhere. And it makes sense too if you've got Drive and Sync, well, it's Backup and Sync, you've effectively got Drive. It's just another folder in Drive that it backs up to. So it's sort of, it's really just multi-handling the same file. So
yeah, it makes it easier.
Makes it a bit easier. They're going to streamline it a bit now. So not a bad thing. It has. I don't know if it's just been our connection at work, but I've noticed that the Google apps have got a little bit clunky lately.
Yeah.
So that's that one. And quickly, Microsoft is bringing Windows to the cloud with Windows 365 and Cloud PC.
Knew it was coming.
This is why
signature PC.
This is why they destroyed Windows 11, because they don't want people to use it. They want people to use Windows 365.
And subscribe monthly.
Starting August 2nd, Microsoft will start selling subscriptions to virtualize Windows desktops, apps, data, and settings as part of the new Windows 365 service starting on the Cloud PC experience. Officially took the wraps off its newest virtualization service on July 14th with the debut of Windows 365 and Cloud PC. This new service, built on top of Azure Virtual Desktop, will allow users to bring their Windows 10, or once it's available, Windows 11, apps, tools, data, settings to their personal and work devices, including PCs, Macs, iPads, Linux, Android devices, via a native remote desktop application or web browser. Microsoft Pictures Cloud PC will provide a secure place to store apps, files, and documents, which users will be able to access anytime on any internet connection anywhere in the world. Which,
so long as the service is up, because we've seen Office 365 go away for a whole day, haven't we?
Yeah.
Imagine if your whole Windows went away and you couldn't do anything at all. Well, boss, I'll just sit here and play games on my phone for a whole day. How's that?
Yeah, because I can't log into a virtual PC.
Yeah.
Microsoft planning to make Windows 365 and Cloud PC generally available starting August 2nd. Per user, per month pricing for the service around the same time. There's no official word on that yet. There'll be multiple price points and plans available, which will offer different amounts of processing power, storage, and memory. Unlike the case with Azure Virtual Desktop, the service formerly known as Windows Virtual Desktop, Windows 365 Cloud PC will be available for a flat subscription rate and not a constantly changing rate based on the consumption of cloud services. Okay, that's actually not a bad idea. That's one of the biggest problems with Azure Virtual Desktop. If you wanted to use it live all the time, it costs a fortune because they go by uptime.
Yep.
And if you only wanted to use it when you wanted to, then you'd have to log into it, activate the service, wait for it to do its thing, so you can sit there for 10 minutes waiting for it. So that's kind of what Amazon does with their virtual PC. You can run it all month, like, because they give you, on their base plan, they give you enough hours to cover the whole month for free.
Yep. So
you can leave it running all month, and you don't have to worry about hitting your quota for the month. Because it's the same reason. It takes 10 minutes for it to start up. You know, if you're trying to do something and start it and stop it all the time.
Yeah.
So
stuff would work.
There are, of course, there's many requirements. Required. You basically, where are we? It's completely integrated with Microsoft Endpoint Manager, Image Gallery. Where is Watchdog Service, which is good for the backup stuff. Frontline workers, call centers, education training, so Office Lite. So they've got, for example, they're giving you some examples here. So 1 CPU, 2 gig RAM, 64 gig storage. Frontline workers, call centers, education training, CRM, which is Office Lite, web-based, Microsoft Edge, OneDrive, lightweight, line of business apps, e.g. call center application, web apps, Defender support. And they've got like the next one up, which is like managers, short-term, seasonal, customer services, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Teams, Outlook, Excel, audio only, Teams, OneDrive, Adobe Reader. That's going to be a 2 CPU, 4 gig RAM, with extra storage. We're up to the top one, which is an 8 core CPU, 32 gig of RAM, 512 gig storage. Software developers, engineers, content creators, design engineering workstations. So they've got a fair few.
Sounds good for developers because you just log in and all your stuff is there no matter where you are. You go on holiday or the boss rings up and he's like, "Can you quickly do this for me?" You can log on your grandma's computer and connect across and away you go.
Yeah.
Not if you're in the regional Australia where the internet's shit, but I mean, in real countries, yeah.
And I mean, supports audio throughput too. So not video, but it supports audio. So even if you're on your phone, for example, you could log into a meeting, you know, from your phone.
It'll be secure.
You know, it'd be secure, but it'd be exactly the same as using a PC as far as everyone else is concerned. It doesn't do video though, which I guess for most people that's not really an issue for the most part.
Yeah, one day it probably will.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can go to the if you go to techcommunity.com, techcommunity.microsoft.com and search for Windows 365, there's a walkthrough there and tells you how to set it up and go for a free trial and see if it's what you're sort of after. I was just quickly scrolling through it then. It does look very Amazonish. So if you use the Amazon virtual web, virtual PCs, the only real difference is with those you get choice of Linux or Windows, and then different versions of Windows and different versions of Linux. You don't with this one. The neat part about it is if you do have a system, whether you've got a server or a desktop system set up the way you want it, you can actually image that system and put it online. So
virtualize it.
Yeah. So say you've got, you want to roll out. It would be good for rolling out in that regard, where traditionally, a small NUC wouldn't be powerful enough for a lot of that sort of stuff. But if you're virtualizing and it's only running the virtualization, you could take one powerful PC, put all the stuff on it you want to run on it, virtualize that PC, and then all the NUCs would have that power to do that.
Yeah.
So I can see some benefits for it. It's just going to be interesting to see what their pricing comes down to at the end of it, I guess.
Might even use it at your business.
I had thought about using one of the Amazon ones, but our internet's not super amazing. So, yeah, pretty much. Part of it, it's not entirely NBN's fault. Part of it is the fact that the buildings are 300 years old and the general infrastructure around them is not great. And there's a whole heap of... We're right next to a giant step-up transformer.
Oh, that'd be great for Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So our Wi-Fi is okay if you're within... I got a 6 aerial Linksys, I think, Wi-Fi router, and I can walk about probably 20 foot away from it and just still have signal.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of interference in that area. Turn the microwave on, that's it. You don't have signal anymore. But even it affects the normal internet. Even like you can hear back when they used to have the analog phones in the place, you could hear the buzz through the phone lines. Now they've gone fibre, so you don't get that. But I'm sure the electrical interference is still screwing with the NTDs. So
yeah.
So yeah.
That's it for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alrighty, thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Head Show. We can be found at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, and Coffee. Email us will@aussietechheads.com.au and go to aussietechradio.com, 24/7 back-to-back playing of the best tech-related shows from around Australia and New Zealand. See you next time.
Bye.